Oh my gosh, this is a drama bomb. I've got a lot to say about this, and everybody has been talking about it, so you better believe I've got to get my 2 cents in. Erika Kirk is acting a little sussy with Vice President J.D. Vance.
Hey there, boss. Would you like me to get your cum rag?
That's a good one. That's a good impression of the South Park J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk are up to something sussy. Something's going on. Let me tell you, something is going on, and I don't think it's the only thing that's going on. You guys have seen how close Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were, right? They were really close. Like, they were going fishing together, they were going bowling together, they were going skating together, and there's a lot of photos of them together, and I don't see his wife anywhere around, nor do I see Candace Owens' husband anywhere to be seen. That is interesting. That is very, very interesting for two married people who are of the opposite sex and are straight to be regularly going on effectively dates together without each other's partners, completely alone. That's pretty weird. That's definitely pretty weird, for sure. Anyway, though, that aside, ever since Charlie Kirk died, she's been making the rounds, Erika Kirk, his wife. His widow has been making the rounds, doing this whole, woe is me, my husband died, and I'm raising my children alone now, wah. Obviously, it's quite sad on its face, but her sadness is not genuine. Like, it doesn't come off as genuine even a little bit. Like, down to the, she's got like a single tissue, and she'll do this like the most cartoonish wiping away tears you can imagine during the Charlie Kirk funeral event. It was so performative, and she has been so performative and on top of grifting off of his death ever since. It's weird, dude. It's really weird how everybody is performatively talking about how much they respect Charlie Kirk and his legacy, but in their actions, they're disrespecting him like crazy and using his death to make every penny they can, milking it like crazy, right? Well, things just got a little bit spicier because this video has gone viral. Everyone is talking about her. Well, it's a video. Here's a screenshot of it. It's a bit of a weird look. That is indeed Erika Kirk on the left and J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's little cum goblin, on the right, hugging in a very weird way. Erika Kirk is like grabbing the back of his head in the kind of way that you do not do to someone often unless it is, well, a certain kind of hug. Let's just call it that, right? That's odd body language to say the least. I'm not a body language analysis expert, dude, but I don't know, man. That's, oh, great heavens, am I right? Let's go ahead and check out the video that also kind of added to the drama and made people go, okay, one screenshot is a thing, okay? One screenshot, not that big a deal. That screenshot followed directly by this statement from her is kinda weird, and I have to agree.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
So yeah, this is really weird. Like, there seems to be a unanimous move by the right-wing establishment to make J.D. Vance the new Charlie Kirk, which is hilarious because there's never been a conservative pundit with less charisma than J.D. Vance. Like, he's so unpopular. Most Trump supporters don't care for J.D. Vance. He's just kind of there, just like they never cared for Pence. Like, they would literally start chanting for J.D. Vance to be beheaded in the street if he chose to uphold the results of an election where Trump lost. They do the same thing to him. They don't like him or care about him that much. Trump is their king, after all. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about this, and the conversation is pretty widespread. So before we get into it, I want to ask you, if you end up liking this video, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps a lot, and it really does a ton to support the channel despite being free. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. Hype the video if you want to mega charge it in the algorithm. That really, really helps. And of course, thank you for watching. But let's continue, without any further ado. Why the hell did JD Vance and Erika Kirk hug like that? The vice president had an uncomfortably close embrace with Charlie Kirk's widow for everyone to witness. Vice President JD Vance has some explaining to do over a hug that was a little too close with Erika Kirk, the widow of right-wing political activist Charlie Kirk. The two were at the University of Mississippi Wednesday night for Turning Point USA's This is the Turning Point tour, the organization co-founded by Charlie that Erika took over after his death. Vance not only was the headlining guest, but also filled Charlie's old role of debating college students from a stage. It's really weird how they're using this as an opportunity in a lot of different ways. Not just culturally, not just in what she just said, but literally, they are having JD Vance, the vice president, fill in for a right-wing influencer. That is how important right-wing influencers are for the right wing, is that when one of their biggest gets assassinated, they replace him with the vice president. Holy shit. But the internet isn't as concerned with the tour itself or the fact that Vance has time to play conservative influencer while serving as vice president. Instead, they're talking about the embrace between him and Kirk's widow, with Vance's hands on her waist and her face appearing to betray some emotion at the same time. Several commentators seem to suggest that this doesn't bode well for Vance's wife, Usha. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like, has there ever been a bigger cuck than JD Vance's wife right now? Holy crap. I guess you could argue Charlie Kirk is a bigger cuck right now, but man, I would hate to be JD Vance's wife just in the audience surrounded by people who are cheering as this happens. As she calls your husband the closest thing she can think of to her deceased husband, and then she goes up and, like, hugs the shit out of him. Also, who remembers when she was doing the hardcore trad wife, mourning widow aesthetic that Erika Kirk was? Notice she's wearing, like, skin-tight rubber jeans right now and a t-shirt and a bunch of, like, jewelry. Like, listen, I'm not gonna lie. You see a girl walking around dressed like this in real life, she's probably not a Christian. Okay? She's probably not a Christian, and she's probably DTF if you've got the riz for it, okay? Like, she is not dressed like the kind of girl that I would write off as, like, too Christian to have a shot with. Not at all. That's leather? Yeah, she's wearing skin-tight leather right now. That is... I'm not saying it's slutty. I'm just saying it's not exactly the Christian trad wife aesthetic that she has been really leaning into up until recently. Like, dude, this is not the kind of... I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to how she's looked in her previous appearances. It's a bit different. The pictures from Mississippi aren't helped by Vance's remarks about his wife at the event, where he said he hopes Usha will leave her Hindu faith and convert to Christianity. All three of their children are being raised as Christians, with the two older ones attending a Christian school. That is so weird, man. And don't forget that JD Vance is regularly getting an immense amount of crap for being married to an Indian woman. Like, the amount of anti-Indian racism that has gotten so all over the place as of late is crazy, by the way. I think I'm gonna have to do maybe even a prepared video on it just to really touch on the topic thoroughly. But the amount of Indian hate is insane. It's gotten very specialized. I guess Indians are starting to be like the group that the right are demonizing primarily right now. And even the vice president's Hindu wife is being told to convert by her husband on stage. That's crazy. And of course he's demanding that the children be raised Christian. God. I honestly do wish that because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife... Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta read it like him.
I honestly do wish that because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
He said,
If she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you gotta work out.
Is there something going on between Kirk and Vance? If there isn't, the vice president's words and that hug are already spreading rumors otherwise. Usha and her parents have both done a lot for Vance, and what happened Wednesday looks disrespectful at a minimum. A lot of people are talking about this right now. It's become a big focus of people's conversation, and it's mostly, I think, tongue-in-cheek. I think it's mostly memes in large part. A lot of people are just joking around about this, but I'm not gonna lie, there is an aspect of, hey yo, is something really going on right now? For sure. Here, one sec. Let's get a look at some of the reaction to this right now, because people have been calling it out and talking about it quite a bit. Here's a channel that's literally called... This video's by a channel called HypeX, and it's called Black People React to Erika Kirk and JD Vance Non-Church Hug During Live Event. Not okay. Damn. So I'm assuming these are conservatives who would otherwise be, like, cheering for what's happening right now that are like, what the hell was that hug? Are these conservatives asking that? I'm curious to see what this is about.
Reporting live from Myers Club in Atlanta for Hype Plus News, I'm John Abba. What is considered appropriate versus inappropriate when hugging someone of the opposite sex while in a relationship? This appears to be the current debate online as many begin to react to the circulation of an embrace between Charlie Kirk's widow Erika Kirk and Vice President JD Vance.
Now let's be clear, it's not what type of contact is acceptable in all relationships, it's what kind of contact. Is this contact acceptable and not hypocritical from the worldview of these people? I really do think that this treads a lot of boundaries. I don't think that God would be thrilled about this. I'll tell you that. Hey, Cammy.
Now, to kick off her tour in the aftermath of her late husband's shooting, Erika Kirk would host a Turning Point USA event at Ole Miss on Wednesday. Now, just like her husband, Kirk plans to visit several college campuses as a way to further push several talking points. Ironically, many are not discussing those talking points following the first stop, due to a hug between Erika and current Vice President JD Vance, who would join her on stage.
That is so
now,
weird,
the hug
man.
alone has begun to dominate headlines into Friday, as many are calling it inappropriate, given that JD Vance is a married man and a father of 3 with wife Usha Vance. Several users online have now begun sharing their thoughts about it and how it was not the common church hug you would give someone if you're married or in a relationship. For those who don't know, the phrase church hug is used to describe a very non-intimate hug between two.
It's the old like one arm like kind of sideways, like you don't want like your chests to be directly touching, like unless someone's like really like bear hugging you because you're like having a hard time, or you're doing the same to them because they're having a hard time, and you're both cool with that and you know that. You try not to do the whole chest to chest, stomach to stomach thing when you're hugging. Like that is a really intimate hug. I'm not gonna lie, like even pretty good friends, when I might not even hug them when I see them after a while, but even if we do hug, it's the church hug. It's the little side hug, you know, where you're like, you know, armpit to shoulder, shoulder to armpit, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's a hug, but it's the least gay hug you can do with your bros, you know what I mean? Like if two guys hugged that way, all of the right would be calling it gay. So why is it not sus that they're a man and a woman who are both married? Well, she's married to a man who just was killed. Like, if two guys did this, they'd be calling it gay. That's all I'm saying. They would have called it gay if two guys were on stage hugging that way. So the fact that it's two married people, little weird, little sus.
Sometimes considered a side hug or where the two people's fronts don't touch.
Married men to my married men out there and taken men as well, all right? When you hug another woman that is not your partner, are you doing full body hug? And the hand on the waist? Bruh, the hand on the waist. Are you able to walk back to your partner, to your boo thing, without having your head completely removed from your body? Those photos and that moment was weird. And again, aren't you like hugging them like this? Butt out, like this. You're not doing the whole pelvis to pelvis, holding the waist, her hand in the back of your head. I'm telling you right now,
Yep.
you are not going to be alive the next morning.
Usha,
Jesus Christ.
that's your man? That's your man right there? You in danger, girl.
I mean, people are calling it out. People definitely saw what they saw. Like, that is not a friendly hug. That is not a friendly hug. That is a very affectionate, intimate, close hug. I don't know, man. I don't think a lot of people are gonna fall for the idea that this was something innocuous. I think even if it was just innocuous, a lot of people are gonna come out of this believing it wasn't. And I think that's what matters more. Because it's funny. It is funny. Even if it's not true, if people believe that JD Vance is cheating on his wife with Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's dead widow, then... Or not dead widow, Charlie Kirk's widow. Dead Charlie Kirk's widow. Then I find that hilarious, and I'm okay with it. I will not complain. I will celebrate, in fact. Now, if you like this video, y'all know what to do. Leave a like, comment, hype if you really want to supercharge the video in the algorithm, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Maybe join the Discord, too, if you want to join the watch party we're about to do in a moment. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, as always.